Imagine car factories in Detroit, Stuttgart, and Tokyo grinding to a halt, not because people have stopped buying cars, but because a single critical component is missing from the production line. The hum of machinery fades, the lights dim, and the once bustling floors fall eerily silent. The assembly lines stand still, thousands of workers are sent home, and the ripple effect spreads far beyond the factory gates. All of this chaos is triggered by a supply chain bottleneck. One small break in a vast, interconnected system. This isn't a scene from a dystopian movie. It's a real and present threat facing the global automotive industry today, June 29, 2025. Headlines around the world are filled with stories of halted production and economic uncertainty. The power to start or stop these factories doesn't rest with Ford or Toyota. It lies in China, thousands of miles away from the showrooms and assembly lines of the West. China is more than just the world's largest car market. It's the silent engine powering vehicle production worldwide. Its influence stretches from the mines to the manufacturing plants, shaping the fate of automakers everywhere. For decades, the global economy has thrived on interdependence, countries trading what they have for what they need, building a web of commerce that connects every continent. The car industry is a prime example of this complexity. A single vehicle contains parts from dozens of countries, all synchronized in a logistical dance that must be perfectly timed. From microchips to motors, every component has a story and a journey. But what happens when one partner changes the steps or decides to withhold a crucial piece of the puzzle? The entire system can grind to a halt, leaving companies scrambling for alternatives. China's dominance over rare earth minerals, a group of elements essential for modern electronics and electric vehicles, has created a vulnerability that's only now being fully understood by the rest of the world. The story of the modern car is no longer just about horsepower, sleek design, or cutting-edge technology. It's about geopolitics, resource control, and the fragility of global supply chains. Recent export controls from Beijing have triggered production slowdowns and even factory shutdowns across Europe and the US, sending shockwaves through the industry and affecting millions of jobs. The global auto industry, once a symbol of industrial might and innovation, now finds itself in a precarious position, its future tied to materials controlled by a single nation, with little room for error or negotiation. This essay will explore how China built its rare earth monopoly, why these materials are so vital to modern vehicles, and the real-world impact on automakers, workers, and entire economies. We'll also examine the urgent efforts underway to find solutions, from developing alternative materials to opening new mines outside China, and what this global power play means for the future of cars, prices, and the world economy. The implications are simple and profound for everyone, from factory workers and car buyers to policymakers and business leaders. The silent engine of the global auto industry is now at the center of a high-stakes geopolitical contest, and its outcome will shape the road ahead for us all. For years, China was seen as a massive car market and assembly hub, not a strategic powerhouse. Western and Asian automakers built factories there, chasing the country's booming middle class. But beneath the surface, China was securing control over the essential ingredients for modern vehicles, especially rare earth minerals. While others outsourced, China invested in the complex, often dirty business of mining and refining these elements. The result? A near monopoly on processed rare earths, the backbone of high-tech auto components. Today, China is the gatekeeper for the most critical parts in modern vehicles, from electric motors to advanced sensors. By adjusting export quotas or halting shipments, Beijing can instantly disrupt car makers worldwide. The industry's just-in-time supply chains, optimized for efficiency, have become dangerously fragile. Dependence on China is now a matter of national and economic security, forcing a global rethink of how cars are built. Despite what their name suggests, rare earth minerals aren't actually rare in the Earth's crust. In fact, they're relatively abundant compared to some precious metals like gold or platinum. But finding deposits that are concentrated enough to mine economically and then refining them to a usable form is a complex and costly challenge. These 17 elements, including neodymium, dysprosium, and others, have unique magnetic, luminescent, and electrochemical properties. These characteristics make them absolutely essential for a wide range of modern technologies, from smartphones to wind turbines. In the automotive world, their most critical use is in the creation of powerful, lightweight magnets for electric motors. These magnets are what enable electric vehicles to achieve longer driving ranges, faster acceleration, and better overall performance. Without these advanced magnets, electric vehicles would be heavier, less efficient, and ultimately less appealing to consumers, making the transition to clean transportation much harder. Rare earths are also found in catalytic converters that reduce emissions, in power-adjustable seats, high-resolution infotainment screens, and the advanced sensors that power today's safety features. Building a modern car without rare earth minerals is nearly impossible. They are woven into the fabric of automotive innovation. Any disruption in the supply of rare earths has immediate, far-reaching effects, not just for electric vehicles but for the entire auto sector and its millions of workers. A shortage of even a single rare earth element can halt production lines worldwide, causing delays and financial losses. The industry's reliance on a supply chain overwhelmingly controlled by China creates a deep and dangerous dependency, leaving automakers vulnerable to geopolitical tensions and trade disruptions. This is the critical vulnerability automakers now face, a challenge that could shape the future of the entire industry. The risk of China weaponizing its rare earth dominance became reality in late 2024. For years, experts had warned about the world's reliance on a single source for these critical minerals, but few anticipated just how quickly the situation could escalate. Beijing's new export controls on key rare earths sent shockwaves through global markets and factory floors. Stock prices tumbled overnight, and uncertainty rippled through boardrooms and shop floors alike. Ford had to slow production of its F-150 Lightning and Mustang Mach-E, citing shortages of specialized magnets for electric motors. These components, small but essential, suddenly became the bottleneck for entire product lines. Unfinished vehicles piled up, and workers faced reduced shifts. The ripple effect was immediate. Dealerships ran low on inventory, and customers faced long wait times for new cars. In Germany, Volkswagen's flagship electric models were hit, forcing temporary furloughs and revised production targets. The company scrambled to find alternative suppliers, but options were limited and costly. The pain rippled through the entire supply chain. Suppliers of everything from power steering to audio systems couldn't get the materials they needed. Small and medium-sized businesses in particular struggled to stay afloat. Even automakers with diversified supply chains were hamstrung by a single missing part. The complexity of modern manufacturing meant that one weak link could halt the entire process. The just-in-time system had failed, exposing the industry's lack of resilience. Years of cost-cutting and efficiency had left little room for error or disruption. China had shown it could flip the switch, and the world was forced to take notice. Governments and corporations alike began urgently reassessing their supply chain strategies. The auto industry's magnificent machine was running on borrowed time. The crisis was a wake-up call, revealing just how fragile the global system had become. Why can't other countries just mine their own rare earths? The answer lies in processing, not mining. While the US, Australia, and others have rare earth deposits, China dominates the complex, costly process of refining them into usable metals. Over decades, China invested billions in mastering the chemistry and building massive refineries. Even when rare earths are mined elsewhere, the raw ore is often shipped to China for processing. Building new refineries outside China is a monumental, years-long task, requiring huge investments, skilled workers, and overcoming environmental hurdles. The Mountain Pass mine in California, for example, still relies on Chinese processing. It's like growing wheat but having to ship it overseas to be milled. Experts say it could take 5 to 10 years to build a resilient non-Chinese supply chain. In the fast-moving auto industry, a decade is an eternity. The crisis has finally spurred governments and automakers into action. In Washington, Brussels, and Tokyo, rare earths are now treated with the urgency once reserved for oil. The US and EU are rolling out subsidies and policies to build domestic mining and processing. Automakers are investing in new technologies to reduce or eliminate rare earth use, like alternative motors and recycling old electronics. They're also signing long-term deals with new suppliers in Australia and Canada and investing directly in mining projects. Urban mining, recycling rare earths from old products, is becoming a critical part of the solution. The race is on to break free from China's grip. The rare earth crisis is hitting consumers where it hurts, their wallets. Scarce materials mean skyrocketing costs, and automakers are passing those costs on. Electric vehicles in particular are getting more expensive, and the dream of affordable EVs is slipping away. Fewer cars are available, wait times are longer, and dealers have more pricing power. The pain ripples through the economy. Factories slow down, workers face layoffs, and entire communities feel the strain. Automakers may have to limit advanced features or reserve them for luxury models, creating a two-tiered market. The latest technology could become out of reach for average buyers. Years of progress in democratizing automotive tech are at risk. The industry's vulnerability is now everyone's problem. This crisis marks the end of hyper-efficient, just-in-time global supply chains. The new focus is on resilience, security, and regionalization, even if it means higher costs. We'll see North American, European, and Asian blocs building their own supply chains for critical materials. For China, wielding rare earth power may backfire, accelerating global efforts to find alternatives and eroding its dominance. For consumers, expect higher prices and fewer choices in the short term. But the scramble for alternatives could spark breakthroughs in materials science and engineering. The future of the car may be forged in this crisis, more resilient but more fragmented. The industry is being reshaped before our eyes. The past year has exposed the fragility of the global auto system. China's control over rare earths has become a powerful lever, causing shutdowns and economic pain worldwide. The era of assuming critical materials would always flow freely is over. The industry's priorities are clear: diversify sources, invest in new tech, and build resilient regional supply chains. This will require unprecedented cooperation and investment, and it won't be quick or cheap. Volatility, shortages, and higher prices are likely for years to come. The crisis is a lesson in the true cost of efficiency and the dangers of overconcentration. Resilience will be the new watchword in boardrooms and governments. By confronting this vulnerability, the world can build a more secure, innovative automotive future. The choices made now will shape what we drive for generations.